right, Alex, we are live.
Great.
How are you, my friend?
I am fine, sitting in a roadside restaurant outside my hometown.
Nice.
Yeah.
I am in my lovely home office that many people have seen before. So welcome to anyone who's here. Let me actually share it right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to see the live feed here. Are you from your personal Amy Carrier page or your regular page?
My personal page.
Okay.
So hopefully we can see it. And let's see. Let me make sure it's public, Alex.
Yeah.
All right, I need to refresh because it's not even showing up. And
I can't see the live feed either.
yeah, it's just not showing up. It says we're live. Oh, come on.
I'm refreshing and looking here as well. But now the last post is your notification that we are going to go live.
Yep. So this is not working.
Maybe you're sending from your page after all. Hold on. Let's see.
No, no, because I actually selected to broadcast from my personal page.
Okay.
So I guess this means we need to start over. Oh, be live. Don't be down today. Jeez Louise. They got to get their game together if they want to keep charging for this.
Yeah,
all right.
So give me a second. I'll just recheck on your page.
Okay.
Amy Lynn Carrier.
Oh, okay.
No.
Nope, it's nowhere.
It's nowhere. I wonder where we are transmitting.
Who knows? To the moon. All right, so we'll hang up. I'll set up another one. I'll send you the link. Oh, wait, we've got 2 viewers? Who's here? We're trying to solve a mystery. Alex and I cannot find this live broadcast. So if you are viewing this, will you please comment on it so that we can find it? We can't find it anywhere. So I see that we've got 2 viewers. We've got 1 person who liked it and still can't find this thing.
Wow.
Okay. Our 2 viewers. Hello. We do hear from you. Otherwise, we're going to shut this down and start a new video.
Yeah, now I can see it.
You can now.
Yeah.
And now we have 5 people. Hi, guys. Please write in the comments. Alex and I were just about to hang up because we couldn't find this video anywhere. But if you're watching, that means you found it somewhere.
Yeah, it's live on your personal page right now. Yeah.
Okay. All right, good. So welcome to Who's Here. I am Amy Carrier, and this is my weekly lesson that I do for Amy Carrier's classroom. And I am taking a moment right now to share it in the classroom, and I would like anyone who's here now to do the same thing. And in the comments, please tell me where you're from. That way I will know who's here, how far our video is reaching, and Alex and I can do a better job of tailoring to our audience today. So Alex and I, stick with us in this video today because we're going to give you some tips, some do's and don'ts, especially when we get to the end of the video. We're going to summarize everything we want you to know. And Alex did an amazing experiment over the weekend that he's going to talk about as well. So please, thank you for the thumbs up. We've got some comments here already. That's awesome. Thank you. Takwa, so lovely to see you, my dear. So would you all who've commented, please hit the share button right now. And this is a really special lesson because today, Alex Bertlin from Sweden, one of your beloved mentor teachers in the classroom, is here live with me to talk about networking and digital etiquette and how to build relationships through your screen. You're watching me through a screen. If you want to build a relationship, Alex, there's a way to do it. So that's what we're here to teach you today. Alex, why don't you say hello and tell us a little bit about what's going on with you and why you wanted to do this lesson today.
Well, first of all, hello from Sweden. The reason why I want to share networking skills with all of you is that I think it was, how long ago did I join your classroom?
You've been there kind of since the beginning, maybe July or August last year.
Yeah, okay. So in that phase, it was the start of when I started building my network in a really fast way, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I see some mistakes people are making that I myself did in the early days when I started a couple of years ago when I started building my network.
Yes.
So in essence, I want to teach people how to avoid spending time doing my mistakes because it was a valuable amount of time that I wasted doing this. And that's what we are going to talk about, I think, today.
Yeah. And I think that, I mean, this is what teachers do, right? We teach you from our mistakes so you don't have to make the same mistake. You will undoubtedly make your own mistakes, but it's better to start rather than from ground zero to start a few steps up. That's what we want to help you with today.
Yeah.
So, Alex, what was this experiment that you did over the weekend?
Yeah, this was 2 days ago. I started up a random Zoom room or like a Zoom meeting. It's like, let's say, it's like an application like Facebook Live, but not live on Facebook, so that you can meet in private. And I invited, it was an open invite, and I put this on my page just to see who would come in, how many would come in, if any. Okay. And the actual subject was networking and getting to know each other a little bit more, because when we are online like this, like you and me now, we get a lot of friend requests. Yeah. I think that if I'm not counting the people in my family or my friends in my hometown or in Sweden, but if I look at my network outside of Sweden, I think I probably have met or talked to at least to 5% of these people. And I have today, I think it's 1,700 people on my list. 5% of those I have talked to. Mm-hmm. The rest I have only communicated by text. I don't know how they sound. I don't know how they look except for their profile picture. I don't know how they act and so on. So with these 5% people that I've talked to, I do have some business with a few of them because I know them. I have no business with the other 95% of these people. So the experiment was about trying to connect on a more personal level with the rest of the network, and also to make them be able to access my network so that my contacts could get to know each other. Okay. And also in a personal level. And I had a couple of rules in this little experiment. That is, we speak English. We must have the video on so that we can see each other. Mm-hmm. And of course, if we are more than a couple of people, then we mute the microphone. But also, importantly, no pitching of business. We don't talk about our companies. We can talk about the companies, but not names and so on. Right. So that it will be off business, so that we can get to know each other instead. Mm-hmm. So that we can build this global network that we are aiming to do. Also here in Amy Carrier's classroom, of course. Yeah. So interesting enough, all these people that came in 2 days, they were all from the classroom. There were none of my old friends.
Really?
So all of them were curious people from the classroom. That was pretty interesting.
Why do you think that is?
I'm not sure. I'm trying to figure it out myself. My old friends and acquaintances here in Sweden, they some of them know what I'm doing, some of them are in on what I'm doing, but most of them don't understand this networking activity. Some of them don't want to do it, and that's okay. Mm-hmm. But most of them don't understand it. They don't understand the value of building a network. So
most people just don't get it. So
yeah,
if they don't get it, they don't know that it's important, that it's valuable, that it turns into money. That means they also don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
So what do you think the outcomes were of your experiment?
It's still an experiment, so I will continue to do this a couple of weeks. I will open up these Zoom meetings on random times, not the same time, of course. I had actually a couple of inboxes from people from the States that saw this invitation in after the meeting occurred, and they asked if I can do it on another time. And they did not know what it was about, so some people are curious.
Yeah.
So I will just continue a couple of weeks and see what happens. So if you're hearing this now, check on my timeline from time to time. I will put these Zoom links out there. If you're interested in meeting people on a global scale, come on in and say hi. Introduce yourself and see if you find someone that is like-minded. Maybe it's only me in there, but, you know.
Well, you should definitely invite me. I'm sorry I missed this. I saw your announcement of it, but I think it's really important. Let me clarify. Was this broadcast live?
No.
Okay. Why not?
The reason was to experiment because I do go on Facebook Live quite often, and I know that some people are terrified of going live. And a couple of the people that went on these Zoom meetings really expressed their fears of going live. And when they went into this Zoom meeting, it's like a closed environment, and then they really liked the concept, and they got to know new people that they did not was able to do through Facebook Live because they won't do it. So maybe they will get some better confidence and go live. And as you know, when we go live, we get massive amounts of friend requests. You know,
true.
Yes, but very few interactions.
Right.
So we need to change it.
Yeah, that's the thing that's really interesting to me. And it's one of the things that I have on my notes that I want to talk to you all about. And thank you, everyone. We've got lots of comments, Alex. So I'm going to go through those comments. If you haven't already commented, please write in the comments where you're from so that we can get a sense of who we're talking to today. Because the whole point is exactly what Alex just said. He's got so many followers he's never communicated with, and I do too. So rather than be anonymous, let's actually connect. Let's actually see what opportunity and what value there is. So Michael Cillian, hi, how are you doing? I am going to go through all these comments in a minute here, but I want to ask actually, Alex, you've been the mentor teacher who's been with me on this journey the longest. So you've already experienced getting friend requests from people that don't write to you. You have a sense of, you think maybe why people don't actually reach out and say, hey, Didar. Let me use Didar as an example. Hey, I'm Didar Sheikh. I'm from Pakistan. I love making videos, and I have my own channel called Didar TV. Why wouldn't people do something like that?
I think they are maybe it's, I think it's many different combinations. Some of them are scared to make a connection. It's an easy thing to press this add a friend. It's scary enough to do it, but it's the most easiest thing that we can do.
Yeah.
And writing something to an unknown person that you want to establish a connection with, maybe it's hard for many people. Maybe that could be the reason.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Or just they don't have the social etiquette. You need to, you can't just go, I can compare it if you go downtown into the city square and just point on people. Hey, let's be friends. Hey, let's be friends. Hey, let's be friends. You know, it's crazy people.
Yeah. So maybe you and I are the crazy people. I don't know. You all watching, please tell us.
Yeah.
Are Alex and I the crazy people for wanting to build our networks and actually get to know all of you who are friending us if you haven't connected? Are we crazy? I mean, I know I'm crazy. I don't know about Alex. He seems pretty level-headed. But I'd like to hear from you all. And I think you're right, Alex, that there are a lot of reasons. Everybody's different. And that's probably one of the first lessons that we really need to understand, is that everybody comes from a different background, a different mindset, a different culture. So everybody's coming. I'm starting to go over the notes that I have that I'm going to give to our audience already. But I think there's, I think that there's a lot of value in helping people to understand the basics of how to do this. Thank you, Didar. Didar sends us best wishes. And he says,
yeah, we're great.
Thanks, Didar. So, all right, let's look at the comments here. Actually, it's probably easier on my phone. Saeed, welcome. Karen Baskin, welcome. Douglas Sinclair is dialing in from County Cork in Ireland. Faizan Ahmed, hello from Dubai. And let's see. So do you all have thoughts, comments? Felipe Greer has a long comment here. Let's see if I can get to the heart of it here. He says that the issue is people's habits of communication. If you know people for years and you communicate face-to-face, you will not join a Zoom call. Okay. If you are used to social media, then your limits to step in are lower for people not used to communicating with virtual channels. Yeah, I think I get what you're saying. I know that there are some people who simply will not do this. And some of my friends, some people I respect, some people who are very successful professionally, just won't do this. So keep the comments coming. This is our opportunity to have a conversation with you. Carol Kamani is here, and she says maybe people find it intrusive to move to the next step after adding one as a friend. That's interesting, Carol, because I don't accept any friend requests unless that person has already written to me and told me
what was the question?
What's up?
What was the question?
The question was, why do you think people don't do this? Like, why are you and I pioneers talking about this?
Yeah, I saw what Carol wrote. Maybe people find it intrusive to move to the next step after adding one as a friend. But that is the first step is making the connection. The second step should be adding.
Right.
You know, right. So I think that's the problem. I think people are taking like a shortcut and adding people instead of doing the connection. Why add people if you're not able to talk to them?
Right.
You can use the follow function. You can like a couple of posts. You can even comment on a post or something before adding them. You can even do this for a couple of weeks. Some people do this on my timeline for a couple of weeks, and then they ask me. It happens very seldom, but sometimes they do, and I think it's a good approach. Then I know who this person is. So
I totally agree. I love, so you and I are on the same page with this. And by the way, Alex lives in Sweden. I live in the United States. We're both Westerners, so to speak, but we have different cultures. And we have both come to this exact understanding that, hey, if I see you commenting and I like your comments and I like the way your mind works over the course of a couple weeks, I'm more apt to respond to you if you want my time offline. And
Yeah.
I was going to actually give an example very similar to what you just said, Alex. That I put a few messages out to the world looking for connections in Dubai to help my sister while she's having a layover there for several hours. And I'm just kind of watching who's responding. I have friends in Dubai. I know people in Dubai. And there's a gentleman who popped up and said, "Can I help?" And I thought, okay, let's see. And he ended up sending me, I don't know if he's here, but he ended up sending me a lot of messages yesterday, which, sorry, I will get back to you. I've been so busy. But I know that he sent me photos of his family. He wanted to make sure that I felt comfortable enough to trust him. So that's how it works. You have to build rapport. You have to build comfort and trust.
Mm.
Oh, Alex, your mama's here. Hi, Alex, mama.
Hello, Mama.
That's awesome. Hello, Gunilla. How are you? All right. So let's see. Douglas Sinclair has a comment here. Let me read that. He says most people do it the other way around. They really have no interactive skills. They need to be in this classroom. Douglas, yes. Do you want to be hired? You can be on our marketing team. The pay is this much, but you are welcome to join it.
Douglas was one of the guys who joined on my experiment.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So, Douglas, what did you think about that experiment? Do you think more people should do it? And I think it's really interesting that it wasn't done live. It wasn't done online for the world to watch. It was more of a safe place. So we had a ton of comments today, actually. So I'm scrolling up to look at the earlier ones. You've got lots of hellos. Mahmoud Alam says it's always great listening to you. Thank you, everyone. And thank you for telling us where you are from, where you live. Oh, Hassan is here. Hello, Hassan. He's another mentor teacher in the classroom. So I've got some tips, but what I really want to know today, because I know how to do this, and I think you know how to do it. I want to make sure that we can answer questions. Oh, hello, Sharish. How are you? The topic today is networking and digital etiquette. How do you build relationships through your screen? How do you do it the right way so that you can actually build something that is valuable? Now, I'll tell you, I built the entire classroom, Amy Carrier's classroom, entirely the way I'm here to talk about it today, and Alex is here to talk about it today. I've never met Alex in person. So this relationship, and by the way, Alex does a ton behind the scenes to support the classroom, support me, host our meetings that we have offline. All of that comes because we spent the time getting to know each other. We actually build a relationship through a flat screen. That's what we want to help you all learn how to do. And then you can have the kind of impact. This has benefited Alex, the work that he does. It certainly benefits me. It benefits everybody who belongs to the classroom because Alex and I know how to do it. So what are your questions? How can we help you today? And Alex, so I've got a list of tips that I want to kind of go through, and then maybe we can start there and then open the discussion. Maybe we'll have some specific questions. What do you think?
Sure.
Good? Okay. So I'm actually going to read these to you all. And thank you for being here. And remember, I'm going to give you some really valuable tips at the end of this video. So make sure you stick around till the end of the hour. It's 1:25 right now. So Alex and I will be here for about another 30 minutes. Today is meant to be very interactive to answer your questions and help you problem solve. So if there's someone you're trying to connect with and it's not working, let's talk about it. Post that in the comments. And thank you to those of you who have already shared this. Please share again and definitely give us some hearts and some thumbs up. That always helps. So This is essentially social media etiquette. It's really interesting. And I think part of the reason, Alex, people struggle with it is because it's new, right? Like your friend in Ireland just said, or maybe it was Felipe just said, it's not like walking down the street, right? I'm good at that. I talk to the people who work in the coffee shop and the people who take, I talk to everybody. But it's a different kind of talking. It's a different kind of communication. So what you really need to know is that it's a process of getting to know each other. And you have to understand that getting to know each other is not just based on your expectations of what the other person should do. Because we are crossing worldviews, languages, cultures, perspectives, norms, rules. What you might find to be totally acceptable might be totally offensive to me, which is why I wanted to build the classroom so that we could create a central place where we can talk about this and we can agree on what works best for everyone. Hey, Calvin Harvey. Calvin used to be one of my high school students. Calvin's all grown up now and has a family. And he says not everyone is the same. Absolutely, Calvin. Calvin, I'm curious, have you done any networking, digital networking? So through either LinkedIn or Facebook or something where you've met someone online and it's been a valuable professional connection? I'd really like to know, my friend, because you sat in my classroom for a couple of years. So I know you know how to do this in real life, in person. Now we're transitioning to doing it online. So some of the do's that I want to give you right now is that you have to be kind and you have to be respectful. And you can't demand things of people. To anyone who saw the live lesson that I did last week with Cynthia Ritchie, we talked about this. You cannot come in and demand. You cannot ask things of someone else and insist or expect that they deliver. Do you guys hear him?
Return of the cat.
Yes, he's back. Alex, why don't you chat with our audience for a minute? Let me deal with him, okay? I'll be right back.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I can get back to what Calvin wrote here. Not everyone is the same. Yeah, that is the essence of why we are doing this, because we want to connect with all people, not the same people, right? Then you really... I realize that not everyone is interested in creating networks, but we are reaching out to the people that do want to create their own network. That is our audience today, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because ultimately, look, every single day the world gets more global, the workforce gets more global, businesses get more global, and there's nothing but opportunity in that space. Right? Trying to figure out what my cat is doing beneath my desk. Hold on a second. I'll be right back. So
yeah,
I think it's very timely, and there are people who have not yet adopted this behavior.
we can't hear you when you're stooped over.
Sorry. I fully blame my cat, but the thing about blaming your cat is it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But he's now working his way up to the windowsill, and he might actually get onto the desk. It's happening. You will you will see a big black fluffy thing walk in front of the computer screen, I guarantee. So Alex, I know that you have built your network to also build your work, your business. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, sure. I think it's whether you have a local business, or if you have some service or product that you are selling, or if you are an employee, it doesn't matter. If you have a network, it helps you. For example, if you have a shop, a local shop, for example, you need customers. to your shop, right? You can either rent a network, and this is called advertising. You can advertise in a newspaper, and then you rent the newspaper's network, and this is the newspaper's customers. They have already created their network. So if you advertise, you rent the network, but you can create your own network for free, like this on Facebook or whatever in social media. You can talk to people on the street and so on. So in order to sell something, you need the network, you need customers. And every new customer that pops in randomly into your shop, you can make sure that that customer is integrated in your network. It's your responsibility as a business owner to make sure that the customer returns, right?
Yeah.
And it's the same with the social media. If you build a network like this, you need to sharpen your communication skills in order to have the network stay with you. Because if we look at it from the other side, I delete people sometimes because they are inactive. They do not contribute anything to my network. And if we're going to go into advanced now, if we look at Facebook algorithms, if you have, for me example, I have 1,600 people in my friends list. If you have many people in your friends list that are inactive, then that lowers your score. So if you delete people, if you delete people that are inactive, then your average score raises and you get more visibility. So lose the junk. so
I never even thought about that. Really?
Yeah. Okay. Yes, you get an average.
So then you want to actually delete what? The people who don't comment on your stuff?
Yeah, basically. They could be really active on their page, and that could also be a plus, but they are not active on your page. So the algorithm changes. I think Ken Course is very good at this. It changes every week or month or year or whatever, you know.
Right.
Facebook do what Facebook does.
Right.
But definitely, you don't want to drag a dead weight. It's the same thing.
Yeah. Okay. That's hey, you just taught me something. Thank you.
Yeah, or better yet, if you don't delete them, but if you stimulate them to become active, that's the best, of course. But it's impossible sometimes, you know.
Yeah. So, all right, let me look at the comments here. Hello, Nasir. How are you? Hey, Amy and Alex. He's here. He puts his hand up. Hi, Carla. Hi, Vinny. So, Saman says, how can you make a connection without them thinking you're spamming them? I saw another comment earlier about spamming. So, you want to answer that first, and then I'll answer it, Alex?
Yeah, I guess spamming is different for everyone. For me, nowadays, when I get friend requests without prior connections, that's a spam for me. So I delete everyone that sends me a friend request without saying something to me first. Sometimes, very seldom, I do go through everyone that sends me a friend request, and sometimes I see something in a profile, then I accept. And the only reason I do this is because I see that that person is an experienced networker and they do their own content on their wall. If most people only link other people's content, and then I just delete them. They need to contact me first,
right?
If I am going to have some kind of interest in communicating. They are communicating with me, they think, by sending their friend request, but they are not.
Right.
So
I wonder if this sending friend requests without any other communication, I wonder if this is normal or if this is accepted in culture somewhere. If it is, if you are watching this and it's normal and it's acceptable for people to just send you a friend request with no further communication, please tell us in the comments, because Alex and I are telling you it doesn't work for us. It doesn't work for most people I know who are successful and busy. But if it works for you, or you know that there is a place where this is normal for people, please tell me. And what I can say is that where I know that it's normal or accepted is, and this is a little unfortunate, but when people are trying to make personal connections, they're looking to date, or they're looking for relationships, or they're just looking to, as someone asked, who asked that question about spamming? Oh, someone. They're just looking to build their network so that then after they've got you as a friend, then they can spam you with whatever it is that they're selling or whoever they're working for. So I'm not saying that that's acceptable, but I think socially it's a little more normal for some people. Is that true? What do you guys think? Calvin says, in the modern era, it is. Really, Calvin? He also agrees. So Calvin also agrees with you, Alex, that it's better to delete and retain the good than to keep the bad. So Faisal says, please rephrase how to best interact with people, communication to keep in touch, integrating them with the network. So Faizan, stick with us, because this is what we're talking about. It's a bigger conversation. It's not just a bullet list that we can give you. What Alex and I are doing today is sifting through our perceptions of what's appropriate, what is proper etiquette, so that you can get what you want to get. And ultimately, if you're adding someone as a friend, you're doing it to get something. And in my case, I will only communicate with you if you are communicating with me first, and you're offering me something that I think is of value. So you need to know what my values are. And my values are different from Alex's values, different from everybody's. So it goes back to, even though Alex and I are on the same page about this, we still have different values. So if you were to reach out to me and say, Amy, I am a follower of yours. I really like your posts. Thank you for speaking up for the people of Syria. I'm Syrian. I now live in Jordan. And I would be happy to help you find whatever you're looking for. In that case, that's someone who's appealing to one of my values, Syria, supporting Syrian people, and they're offering me something. They aren't asking, they're offering me something. It's a very big difference. And I don't think people really understand that. What do you think, Alex?
I think you're spot on. You're absolutely correct. Give me a second. I need to plug in my charger.
You take care of your throat. Well, I think what I just touched upon is one of the things that I'm going to deliver as part of my list at the end of the phone call. So, or at the end of this video today, make sure you stick with us, because if you want something from someone, the best way to open that door is to offer them something you think they value. Do not start, as Alex said with his experiment over the weekend. One of his rules was do not pitch anything. We're interested in knowing who you are, what you do, but don't come into the discussion and say, here's what I need from you all. Here's what I'm actually behind the scenes trying to negotiate from all of you. Gosh, this is good. We've got really good comments today. So Mahmoud Alam says, sorry guys, you saw my cat walk in front of the screen. Now I have cat fur everywhere. Mahmoud Alam says, if I need to send someone a friend request, I would first introduce myself and also write why I want to be a friend with him or her. Absolutely. Yep. Faizan, are you with us? Is this making sense if you just joined us recently? Douglas Sinclair says, most people think that if they amass a lot of friends, they have a good business network. How often do you hear, I have 2,000 friends? but they don't interact with those 2,000 friends. Alex has the right idea. Delete, delete, delete.
It's the ban hammer.
Bad hammer! It's a very Nordic hammer. It's Thor's hammer. I love the band hammer.
Yeah, it's a great tool.
Yeah, it is. So Nasir says a doctor in Pakistan was fired. Oh, yeah, this was a big deal a few months ago. Right, Nasir? A doctor in Pakistan was fired for sending a friend request to a patient. The patient is the sister of a well-known media personality. So who knows what the agenda of that doctor was? It doesn't really matter. But in that case, that doctor didn't really think about the etiquette, the rules, the norms, and it ended up blowing up in his face. Did he, Nasir, did he lose his job? Hi, Sandy Carrier. How are you?
I don't think he sends recipes through Facebook.
I don't think so.
I'm just guessing.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yaya Kadir, welcome. How are you? The topic today is digital networking, digital etiquette, and how to build relationships with people through a screen who you haven't met in person, maybe will never meet in person. How do you actually do that? So, Yaya, please post your questions in the comments. We're looking for those. Faizan says, LinkedIn is also a good option to get help to build your network. Yeah, it is. And LinkedIn is a little bit different for me anyway. This is good. Thank you, Faizan. I will accept anyone into my network in LinkedIn. That is because until and unless they harass me, I have had to block people on LinkedIn. But LinkedIn is different for me because that is, for me, it's one-way communication. It's where I share my posts, publish my articles, and those people are welcome to follow me. To some degree, a very small degree, I do a similar thing on Facebook. But Facebook for me is a much more personal platform because I write about my opinions.
That's why I don't use LinkedIn myself.
You don't use it at all?
No, I don't really like the graphical interface. I don't like the layout. I don't like the feel of it. I like this though on Facebook, Be Live or Facebook Live or whatever. I think Facebook is more. It was more personal. Now, of course, now it's more targeted against business. But I don't like LinkedIn.
Yeah. So tell us in the comments, everyone who's watching, who uses LinkedIn? Just say, yes, I use LinkedIn. Do you like LinkedIn? What other social media do you use? How about Instagram, for example? My Instagram was private for years. Private to only me. I only used it to edit photos. Then I would save those photos, and if I wanted, I would post them on Facebook. And it wasn't until about 5 months ago that I finally decided, hey, there's nothing really personal here, so why don't I open up Instagram and let people follow me? I might change my mind. Who knows? Do you use any other platforms, Alex?
Now I use Instagram. It's I used it as well for personal use. I used that Instagram. What's it called? Live or no, not live. Stories.
Oh yeah.
But now I cross post, so everything that is posted on Instagram stories is coming up on the Facebook stories, or what it's called on Facebook.
Right. Yeah.
So I really have no reason to have it like a private Instagram anymore.
Yeah.
But it
that
is
was pretty much my case too. Hey Jesse Sai, how are you? I miss you. I love you. One of my oldest friends, Jesse Sai. So Yaya is saying how to approach people for startup. So this is part of the reason that Alex and I are having this discussion, because my very first answer to that question, Yaya, is, and I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly. My very first answer is you have to build a relationship with that person. can't build a startup with a stranger. You have to build a relationship, get to know that person, show them that they can trust you, show them what value you have to offer to them in their world, and then maybe they'll be interested in what you're doing, and then maybe they'll want to become part of your team. So this whole idea of how do I connect with people for a startup, I've said before, Dr. Patty Fletcher has said this when I interviewed her as one of my rockstar entrepreneurs in the fall. Any investor is only interested in investing in people. They don't invest in ideas. They don't invest in fancy, amazing, this is the best possible business you can imagine. They invest in people. Everything is based on relationships. So that's my answer. You have to build relationships first. All right. I love this. Today we've got so many questions, Alex. So Mohammed Asif says, ha ha ha, yes, Alex, you are right. Faizan says, how can we aggregate personal network and professional network on Facebook? Or should we start with personal network and then filter them? Alex, would you like to answer that question?
I think that varies. Now I can hear myself all of a sudden.
I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. So
better?
For me, yeah, for me personally, I mix. I don't put business or personal on two different sides. I just show people who I am, and it's very personal for me. Mm-hmm. Everything that I do. I don't have Facebook anymore for personal use. I deleted that a long time ago. I only use Facebook really to build a network, a professional network that is personal for me. Mm-hmm. So for me, I don't see a line in between there. But other people do. I know that. Mm-hmm. I think some people want to separate the two. I think that's okay too. That's different approach, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, everybody has a different perspective on this, right? Mm. So when did you make that decision to have your Facebook just be for your professional brand?
3 years ago. 3.5 years ago. Yeah, I started working with a little bit with network marketing, and then I tried to have it like a separate one, and it didn't really work out. So now I just go full on personal and business mixed.
Okay. So tell us in the comments, who uses for just personal, just business, or both? Just write that in the comments. I use Facebook for just personal or just professional or both. And I actually use it for both. Now, Facebook has been around so long that there's a history of me from 10 years ago. So if you actually do get accepted into my personal friend network, and not many people do, you can actually see photos of me from 10 years ago. I made the decision to transition away from the personal use of Facebook. Plus, it's 10 years later. I've changed. I've grown. I've matured. My priorities have changed. You know, my nieces have grown up. It's valuable for me to keep all that history and to be able to still talk about my nieces, but not publicly. So I use the function that Facebook offers that allows you to make a post open to public. So my 7,500 followers can see whatever I share publicly. And then just my friends can see what I'm sharing personally. So and I would like to know, are you just using it personally, just professionally, or both? Okay.
That's a good question. Maybe we should also make that a poll in the classroom.
Oh yeah, that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have one input on that matter as well. What you said, that you can filter your posts. If you didn't know that, you can create lists of people, and I have put this is a really good tip that I'm going to share with you. I have put
Good tip right here.
Yeah, every single person in my contact list is in a separate list, and I sort people by countries. So I can, if I want to target only Sweden, then I just choose the Swedish list, and the rest of the world will not see my posts. If I think that this post is only interesting for Sweden, why spam the rest of the world with this so they get really fed up with my Swedish shit post, you know? So then I only target the Swedish people, and I will spare the rest of the globe, and or the other way around. Maybe I don't want the Swedish people to see a post that I do to Pakistan. I can just choose Pakistan audience. It's really great. It takes very long time to sort people into these lists. It took me days. It's no good system, but do it. It's worth it.
I started when I first started Facebook, but okay. Yeah. So Alex is winning. This guy right here, he's winning at Facebook. He is taking advantage of everything.
Yeah.
It's a really good suggestion. Now, what's interesting to me is that I like being so global and having friends and connections all over the world, because I want to actually know what's happening. So I want to know what's happening in Sweden. It's part of the reason why I love the SoCap network. I've made lots of friends from the Nordics, and I get to hear and I get to learn what's happening in the innovation space there, or what's happening culturally.
I can include you in the Swedish list.
Yay! I actually would love that, because I consider myself a global citizen. I just posted an article last night about we need to get rid of boundaries. Or borders. I think borders are ridiculous. I think there will be a time on this planet when we hear stories about ancient history, when there was a time when man thought that he could draw lines across the planet and say, this side is mine, that side is yours, don't come into my side. To me, it seems ridiculous. So I'm living that way in my mind and my actions already. So thank you for adding me to your Swedish list. I think it's important, but I know that there are people who disagree with me, and that's fine. And we can ultimately, as long as we can agree to the basics of what Alex and I are talking to you about today, having etiquette, having respect, using kindness, understanding that you're building a relationship. As long as you understand those pieces, I think that almost anybody can communicate. What do you think, Alex?
Yeah, again, you are right. I agree.
See why I love this guy? He just says, you're right, I agree.
Not always, but this time I agree. Okay.
Yeah. He does, yeah, he keeps me in line, guys. You don't know that, but he keeps me in line. All right. I'm so impressed. Thank you all so much for all these comments. They are seriously phenomenal. So I'm going to go through. There was another one. Nasir said something that was perfect, but I feel like it's already scrolled up too far. Nasir said, yes, he uses LinkedIn, but he doesn't find it very useful. So LinkedIn is excellent for building your brand. So don't think about it as even necessarily networking, but it's a great way for you to build your brand, share the resources, articles, things that you want the world to see about you. And then, hey, if the right person is interested, they'll get in touch with you. So that can be a more passive tool that you're using. So I'm scrolling through. Carol Kamani says, I don't like LinkedIn, but I've gotten more leads from it than Facebook. Yeah, me too. Rashid Sattar says, yes, using LinkedIn, but not very useful for me. And Rashid is asking what country I'm from. I'm from the United States, and Alex Bertlin is from Sweden. And we have mentor teachers in Amy Carrier's classroom, which is what this lesson is for today. We have mentor teachers from around the world. So if you're not a member of Amy Carrier's classroom, it's a group on Facebook, and it's linked at the description at the top of this video. So please join us. Sheikh Mohammed Wasif says he uses both. Oh, that was the question. Do you use Facebook for personal, professional, or both? So Sheikh says both. Nasir says both. Douglas Sinclair says both. Mohammed Asif says, I use Facebook as professional to learn new things, such as Amy Carrier and Alex Bertlin, and I also use Instant Article. I thought you were going to talk about Instagram. All right, so what other questions do we have about this? There's a lot of scrolling happening. So, hi, Rehan, how you doing? Calvin, what are your last thoughts? I love that my former student, and Calvin, I did see your comment up above that you learned how to do this in real life in my classroom. Look, Facebook didn't exist for a lot of the students that I taught because I started teaching in 2006. So from about 2006, well, I taught from 2006 to 2011, and these tools were not that common. But I can tell you that I went against the grain even when I was teaching in the classroom and made sure that my students understood about their online marketing, their online persona, to use Facebook responsibly, to build a profile on LinkedIn so that they could have something. And now I know that lots of my students have had LinkedIn accounts for a decade, and those LinkedIn accounts are massive. Big, they're working for them. So you have to use the tools that are going to work for you. And here in the West, in the United States, it's a must-have to have a LinkedIn account. Absolutely must-have. If you apply for a job or you call somebody, the first thing they do, pull up LinkedIn and do a search for you. Sounds like that might not be the case in Sweden.
Yeah, LinkedIn is popular in Sweden, of course. I think it's just me that doesn't like LinkedIn.
Okay.
I'm a LinkedIn guy.
So Mohammed Hassan Ali says, I got affiliated U.S. accounting firm using Facebook networking. That's interesting. Can you tell us a little bit more about that in the comments, please? Mohammed Abdullah. Oh, you're gone already. So we're looking for questions. Carol Kamani says, can you tell someone's character from what they post on Facebook? Ah, very good question, Carol. Very good question. And we're going to, so Alex and I, oh my gosh, Alex, we've hit almost the end of our time together. Let's answer this question for Carol, and then I'm going to go through what I promised our viewers that I would give to them, kind of a do's and don'ts list. So do you want to answer Carol's question?
Yeah, it's difficult. It's like poker. You need to sift through the information and see what they post, when they post, do they only link other people's materials, and so on. If they write their own content, it's much easier, of course, to see, or at least to try to evaluate who they are. But it's difficult. It's very difficult.
It is.
Yeah.
That's why you need to follow and stay and keep watching them and get to know them, right?
Yes.
But I think you can be a researcher and you can pay attention to what people are posting. So Alex, I'm going to go through my list of what to do, what to not do, as our final closing messages to our amazing viewers. And you guys have been phenomenal today. I'm really impressed with all the questions. Thank you. And thank you for the thumbs up and the hearts and the smiley faces. That always helps those of us who are sitting behind a screen doing this. So Calvin, you were one of my best students. I'm so proud of you. All right, so do be kind. Do be patient. Do spend your time getting to know this person that you want to connect with. Do learn about them. And have no assumptions as you learn. Open your mind. And why, again, do you need to open your mind? Because you are communicating or hoping to communicate with people across worldviews, languages, cultures, perspectives, understandings. Everything makes someone's perspective different. even though Alex and I are pretty much on the same page with all of this, as just came up in our conversation today, we still have differences the way we see the value of LinkedIn or the value of Facebook or how to use it. So your job is to make the other person feel comfortable, feel safe, and feel respected. So you can't get anywhere with a stranger if that person feels like you're a stranger and maybe you're questionable and maybe you're someone that I take out the band hammer and just block you. If that happens to you, you didn't do your job. So do your job, and I'll list those 3 things for you again. Your job in networking is to make the other person feel safe and comfortable and respected. That's how you're going to get them to open doors. And as I said last week with Cynthia, this isn't unique to Facebook. This isn't unique to LinkedIn. It isn't even unique to online networking. This is the rule for meeting anyone. When I first reached out to Alex, I wanted Alex to know that I valued him. I wanted him to know that I was a real person. So, Alex, you can respond to this. I was being me, and I was like, hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm building this classroom. I've observed your comments on some things. I think you're great. What do you think? Do you want to come in? And I think you actually sent me a message and said, do you want anybody to teach crypto? And I'm like, sure. Why not? So it was a process of getting to know each other, making each other feel safe and heard. And like I just said, I did not have the idea of teaching cryptocurrency, but that's Alex's specialty. And he opened my mind, and I had already felt comfortable enough with him to continue that conversation and then say, sure, come on into my classroom and go live in a group that has my name on it. So every single one of your mentor teachers is someone I've built a relationship with, and I trust that they will go live, teach something amazing, and I don't even have to watch it. I know that this is a good person. So in the case of all of these people, they were kind. I was kind. So we were kind and patient with each other. We got to know each other. We had no assumptions. I'm sure I might have had some assumptions along the way, but I've learned from them. And I was conscious of, because this is what I've taught for well over a decade, in networking, you have to make the other person feel respected, heard, valuable. You have to make that person feel comfortable in order to get anywhere. So those are kind of my thoughts, Alex. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I have maybe some end comments from my side.
Yeah.
So if you look at your network today, like just open your friend list, and now I'm just talking about Facebook right now. Open your friend list, look at it, and imagine that list in a year or so. And let's say that 50% of these people are your real friends. That's what you need to look at. How to make friends on Facebook. Because as Amy is saying, you need to establish trust, and you will become friends with people. Like you and me, Amy, we are friends. And the rest of the mentors in the classroom, I would invite any one of you to stay at my family's place, for example.
Yeah.
But the people that I do not connect with, I would never invite people to stay with my family. So try to see your network, and in the future, see more of them as friends. And how are you going to do that? You need to communicate.
Yeah. So understand that there are some basics, some kind of basic human behavior, treatment that you need to consider. How do you want to be treated? You want to be treated with respect, with kindness. You want people to listen to you, not just demand something of you. So remember those things, and you will undoubtedly be more successful in building your virtual network. And your virtual network, and Alex, I feel like you and I will continue talking about this. So today was very much about the etiquette around it. And Alex and I have both used our networks to build something that is of value to us, to the world, that is potentially having an impact or making money, whatever our values are. So maybe we can have that conversation. Maybe next time, do another one of these.
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you to everyone who's here, just scrolling through these comments, and thank you to everybody who joined in late. I know we've just gotten a few people here at the end of our hour, but we are going to bid you all farewell and take a different look. Look at Facebook through a different lens after watching this today, and see it as truly, really, we are all people. We all stand for something. We all believe something. We all have people, family, friends that we love in real life. So how can we do a better job of making this online platform a more friendly, more loving, and more valuable place for everybody to be? That's what I would ask. And that's what I'm making your call to action as the Amy Carrier and Amy Carrier's Classroom. I just called myself the Amy Carrier. That's weird. But as me and this crazy role that I play in the world, I'm asking you to please go out there and do a better job. And if that means that you actually send a message to somebody today to say, hey, I added you as a friend 2 months ago because I really like what you post publicly, and I just hit the add button. And I probably should have written to you a while ago and told you, I value you. I think that your worldview is so aligned with mine, and I would love to get to know you more, or how can I help you? Is there something I can do? Maybe you have an article you can share with that person. Again, don't make assumptions, don't have expectations, don't make demands, but see what you can offer them. And on that note, my friends, thank you all for joining us. Alex, as always, thank you for everything you do for the classroom and for everybody and for me. And we will look forward to seeing everybody again, and maybe sometime soon. Maybe another one of these Monday lessons of mine.
Hopefully.
Sound good? All right.
Yeah.
So everyone, again, I'm Amy Carrier. I have founded a virtual classroom here on Facebook called Amy Carrier's Classroom. You can go to facebook.com/groups/Amy Carrier's Classroom. It's also listed in the description of this broadcast today. And you will learn from me and a dozen other mentor teachers just like Alex. And you will become a better person, someone who understands the world more, who is a valuable contributing member of society by being a part of my classroom. That is what's important to me, and that is what I am building. So thank you all for being here with us and for contributing to the classroom, and keep asking us your questions. The more questions you post in my classroom, the more discussion we can have and the better job we can do of figuring out what is valuable to you for us to talk about. And on that,
and one more thing.
yes.
One more thing. Your visibility increases when you post, like, and ask questions. Your network will grow from it.
You got to listen to this guy. Are you listening to Alex? There's a reason he was the first guy I hired to be another teacher in the classroom. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. I am happy that we had such a great lesson today, and I love all the comments. So I'm going to look through these comments, and Alex and I will be back with you again soon. Alex, I go live Mondays at 1 p.m. New York time. Alex goes live
Sundays, 10 a.m. New York time, I think.
We put everything in New York time so that it's easy for people to find, because otherwise people get confused, all the abbreviations for time zones. All right, everyone, have a wonderful week, and we will talk with you next time. Bye-bye.